every time a politician wants to ban guns, there's an explosion in demand to buy guns, right? And so talk about CBDCs really as a marketing event that causes everyone to think about a world where they don't own their own money. And that makes them think, well, what kind of money could I acquire that I would own? And the most censorship-resistant monetary network in the world is Bitcoin. On the other hand, Bitcoin is the one network you can't control. Ted Cruz's famous line is, I like Bitcoin for the same reason the Chinese don't like it. They can't control it.
The executive chairman of Microstrategy, Michael Saylor, thinks that the widespread creation and use of central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, will benefit Bitcoin and may even encourage broader global use of the most popular cryptocurrency. The well-known Bitcoin enthusiast and American entrepreneur recently made an appearance on the PBE podcast, where he talked about, among other things, his opinions on CBDCs and how they might affect the adoption of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Michael claims that such a move by the United States and other countries will be favorable for Bitcoin, in contrast to many other crypto investors who have cautioned against the impact of central bank-issued digital assets. Saylor was responding to Senator Ted Cruz's recent warnings that the value of Bitcoin could be destroyed by the digital dollar and other CBDCs throughout the conversation. Late last month, Cruz stated, "We see China moving forward with the intention of using a CBC to destroy all value of Bitcoin, to destroy anonymity, and to destroy decentralization." Early on in his administration, Joe Biden signed an executive order asking the Federal Reserve to investigate the creation of a CBDC, and the New York branch of the Fed is currently trying to implement that directive. More than 100 nations are either exploring CBDCs, have already launched ones, or are creating them, according to the Atlantic Council's CBDC tracker. 11 nations, including Jamaica, Nigeria, and the Eastern Caribbean, have fully implemented a CBC. A further 18 are in the pilot stage, while 32 nations, including the US and Canada, are in the development stage. According to the Atlantic Council tracker, Project Cedar, a large-scale CBDC experiment by the New York Federal Reserve, shifted the United States from research to development. Cruz contends that people would become skeptical of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies as a result of CBCs, which will surely allow governments an excessive amount of control over their individuals. "I think that's exceptionally dangerous," he remarked. "The possibility of a CBC worries me much. Bitcoin and cash are despised by the same folks who support a CBDC." The senator from Texas does not have the same worries as Michael Saylor. In reality, he predicts that things will go entirely differently. Saylor, for instance, thinks that as CBCs gain popularity and governments get greater authority to control more facets of citizens' lives, individuals will feverishly look for an asset that is totally unconstrained by the power of the state. The world's most valuable cryptocurrency by market cap, according to Michael, is none other than Bitcoin. Please spend a moment liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and turning on post alerts for more content like this before we listen to Michael's interview.
Interest in CBDCs is just going to drive more feverish interest in Bitcoin. It's actually driving awareness, and Bitcoin is growing as people become more aware that they need something which is non-sovereign, store of value, nation-state resistant. So, and if there's hyperinflation, people want Bitcoin. That's why they are thinking about Bitcoin in Argentina or in Nigeria or anywhere in Africa right now. If there's moderate inflation, people that are sensitive to it will go for Bitcoin, and then the people that think the inflation will go away will look at it as an oddity. But money is it's a store of value, a unit of account, a medium of exchange, and then there's a fourth characteristic that we don't talk about. It's the thing that's not said. It's a system of control. So certain monies are easier to control than others. For example, we talk about gold as money, but you ever try to carry a gold bar through an airport?
Very heavy.
Try it next time. they won't let you through, right? In fact, if you tried to carry $100,000 of gold through an airport, not only would you not get through, but the assumption would be you're a criminal, you stole the gold, and they would just take it and keep it without a court order. Now, try to carry $100,000 of cash through the airport. You ever try that? Put it in a bag and just... you can put it in a bag, and as you're walking through the TSA check or the X-ray machine, just nonchalantly say to the officer, yeah, I'm carrying $100,000 of money onto the airplane, right? You won't get through. Now, not only will you not get through, they'll just take your money, right? They'll just take it, and the assumption will be you stole it, okay? So cash is a unit of control. Now, put $100,000 in a bank and try to wire it to someone, or just take it out and they're going to ask you why. Tell them it's none of their business. Try to send it to someone privately. Tell them you just want to send it to a numbered Swiss bank account, right? See how that works. That won't work, right? That's a system of control. A couple of stable coins have been getting shut down. Paxos's BUSD got a Wells notice. They got shut down. And Custodia tried to launch a bank, and they wanted to issue AVITs. AVITs were digital dollars, and they were digital dollars that were going to circulate on crypto networks. And the regulators denied that banking license, and it's about a 70-page denial letter, very articulate, and I read it all. I read thousands. I read all of the crypto legislation and all of the crypto litigation. So if you dig into that denial letter, which is very well written and articulate, what is very clear is the regulators say we're not going to allow the bank to form because we don't want someone to issue digital dollars that will circulate on crypto networks non-KYC. Evading our our anti-money laundering rules, our anti-terrorism rules, our know your customer rules. So it's clear that the regulators reject with prejudice the idea that you can circulate large sums of dollars without reporting that. Now, that's a political football, right? Because a lot of people in this country think that you should own your own money and you should have financial privacy and you ought to be able to do what you want with your money. There's another group of people that don't agree, right? Ted Cruz is on the side of freedom. You ought to own your own money. Now, it turns out that if your money's in a bank, you're not going to be able to circulate it freely. It's controlled. And on the other hand, Bitcoin is the one network you can't control. Ted Cruz's famous line is, I like Bitcoin for the same reason the Chinese don't like it. They can't control it. Nobody can control Bitcoin. So if you're insecure about being able to own your own money, do you own it? And can you actually use it without asking somebody's permission? Then the solution is not gold, it's not silver coins, it's not stacks of cash, it's not money in a bank in the US, it's certainly not money in a bank in Lebanon, Argentina, anywhere in Africa. Those banks won't let you take your money out of the bank. Go look at Nigeria, $42 a day, that's how much you can take out of the bank. They're keeping your money. So the one network that you have that gives you a decent chance of owning your own money and then being able to spend it the way you want is Bitcoin. So I'm not worried about Bitcoin. I do think that there'll be a massive political fight over CBDCs. There's a technical challenge. Our government doesn't know how to issue a CBDC. We don't know how to issue digital currency. The people that are issuing digital dollars are the cryptocurrency people, right? Paxos knows how to issue a digital dollar, right? And the regulators sent him a Wells notice saying, shut it down. So the private market knows how to issue digital dollars. The government doesn't. The EU doesn't. The feds don't. And so even if they wanted to, they can't technically right now without somebody else's help. But as long as Congress is split, right, it seems to me quite clear there's a large faction, by the way, on the Democratic and the Republican side. I mean, Robert F. Kennedy, I don't think is in favor of a CBDC, nor is Ron DeSantis in favor of a CBDC. I don't think that politically it's going to fly in the near term. In the next 2 to 4 years, I don't see consensus at the political level to impose a CBDC. But I think it's like that persistent boogeyman where people say, "Oh, it's coming," and the result is more interest in the antidote to it. So I don't think it's bad for Bitcoin. I think it's good for Bitcoin. I do think we ought to be concerned about money being used as a system of control. Is very disturbing.
What do you think about Michael Saylor's interview and his opinions on CBDCs? Please share your thoughts and views in the space provided below. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and enable bell alerts if you want to see more content like this. Thank you for watching.